Yeah, they should probably fix that. What's going on, my favorite adventurers? It is your host, Brent, aka your favorite adventurer. We are here in Camillus. We are about to go explore Split Rock Quarry, aka the Stone Crusher. It was an old limestone quarry factory, initially established in the 1800s, and then it operated as a quarry until 1912, and then it operated as a factory during World War I. And there was this munitions explosion that happened. It killed 50 men, unfortunately. And then it operated with DOT for a while, up until the mid-80s, and then whatever we see is what's left. But I got notes, as usual. I don't come without those. So, that'll be a sit-down topic later on, but I'm getting my stuff around, and then we'll head out on the trail. Ew. And already, I need to go to the bathroom. But don't worry. It's nothing that I would need toilet paper for. This is a hill that leads to the trail, and there was some old asphalt back there. I've been here twice. Once we get further up ahead, it looks like this used to be like an old road of some sorts to get to the old quarry mine, but I don't know. I mean, so much has changed within the last century that whatever you see in old photos, it's hardly recognizable today. Now, we just came from that little trail. What I would assume, and I guessed it, used to be an old road, continues that way. In that direction is the old Stone Crusher. But I've been on these trails twice, and they zigzag all over the place, and it's easy to get lost if you're not totally familiar. It looks like this one goes all the way into the brush. So we're just going to continue the most direct route that I know, and then on the way back I can probably find my way through the other remaining trails. Just came across some very friendly people. I did bring my newest addition to my survival, strictly for defense purposes only, or survival tactics. I treat it like a gun, it's not a toy. The strangest things you find out here. Now, can't really tell, but there's a nice foundation laid out, and that goes over to a drop point, and it's very consistent from where I've been walking. So one can only assume that this used to be an old road, or at best, an old railroad, because of this stone right here, because this stone is primarily used for railroad use. Either this is left over from way back in the day, or they threw this here, which I would probably go with the latter, just because this is a nice little runoff area for water, so the rocks will help keep it from washing the trail away. Yeah, you can tell that I would assume this was an old road or railway. I mean, up ahead there is a decline, but trains used to especially back then. You know, there's still declines or inclines for trains today, but you know, some of them used to be very steep. And we got a nice little makeshift camp over here. Nice little spot. Yeah, I want to say this has to be like an old railway bed, but I have not seen a single sign of evidence that says that this was in fact an old railway bed. I know this was used for something because just down the way there's old remnants of buildings on the side that I'll show you in a bit. There's our first sign of something that used to be here. No clue what it was. I want to say not a dam. Couldn't be. Or maybe it was, because there's this big hole right here. But yeah, probably a road. I would have to say a road that went through here. You know, it's kind of hard. Any local historian would probably give me an accurate, would tell me like what it actually was. Stairs, obviously. Actually never walked over here past couple times I've been here. Blocks fallen. This is all old. Yeah, look how, I want to say maybe a building stood here. I don't know. My foot just caught this, but for those who really know railways, that's the top of an old railway spike. This was something I was looking for, that or an old piece of wood bedding. This is just nailed into the ground here, which puts the old railway in the running. Now here's another, got a wall right here, old wall right here. This used to be something like a checkpoint. The width is about the size of a track, even like a truck, you know, because trucks weren't that huge way back when, could get through here. But I would have to say a railway of sorts. I just walked past a mossy, rotting log that looked like an old, you know, wooden bed that they put in for the tracks. Could just be an old piece of tree that happens to resemble, you know, a railway piece, but apart from that railway spike, that's the only evidence I have. Another foundation, but this curves a little bit, so I mean tracks curve all the time, so it's the little details I think about. And another. Alright, we're finally at the bottom. this bridge here is the old stone crusher. But you know, we have all day today, so we'll take a look around more, discover, you know, what little remains. Now, here, buried underneath all this brush, looks like an old foundations of sorts, maybe a loading dock. And here we got some old concrete pillars, broken up obviously, and a wall. Got a lot of broken glass around here. This is not the stone crusher. I want to say this is where they loaded. At least a part of me thinks so. This is about the width of maybe like a yard or something. There's a that could have probably been damaged over years, but you know, a hole of sorts to maybe let the stuff go through. It's very brushy. I don't think I can get up on top of that, but I'd like to think they would haul and then dump right here, or maybe, you know, loader, bulldozer, whatever, grabbed it, pushed it, who knows. Local historians would know better than I. Now, a basement, well, what remained of one, I remember it used to lay right here. There was just a slab, you know, moss, dirt, whatever, growing on top of it, and I could barely just see a crack open in there. Looks like, yep, right here. And finally, we're at the bottom. We're up ahead. Little curve to a road upward to get to the main structure. And all these houses are more or less brand new compared to the old state of what once was. So, you know, kind of thinking, you know, maybe a railway did go through here at one point. I would, you know, this proper width again. I don't know. I mean, obviously a lot's changed over the last century, but it's fun to find the old remnants. Now see, this is where I came the first time, but can't park here. I mean, there's two people parking right here, but it could just be guests at somebody's house. But if a railway did go through here, it would have to go along somewhere right through here, and then this is an old road. This is pretty simple that this used to be an old road up to the old quarry. You got old posts, you know, it's asphalt. So these houses, they're not a century old, I can tell you that much. So these houses were built, foundation was moved around. Man, a lot changes in a century. Hope they found them. Now, just like the abandoned Pennsylvania Turnpike, this is graffitied up through here too. You can't be within, you want to be you. What? You can be anything. You want to be, oh, you can be anything you want to be, yo. Very faded. Be good person. Yeah. In the world is change in the world is possible. Huh. Cool. Inclines. Yes, this is stage, but still, inclines. We made it to the top. Old foundation slab of sorts. I've walked this way through the winter one time, but around this corner is the remains of the old stone crusher, but there's many more things to see before we can stop there. Whew. I think I can't remember if there's one ahead or if it was this one. I climbed to the top and sat there and took a break. It was this one. Whew. This would be a nice spot to camp out. Taking a little break and then we'll carry on. It's a very, very pretty view. Once we get done with our break, we'll take a walk that way. I mean, there's not much except for like junk and a lot of graffiti art, but you can walk all the way around this way and we'll come across the old stone crusher, and then I think that's where we'll have our little history lesson. Whew. Okay. Here's this old hook, 2 holes. There's holes right there. So back in the good old days, something used to sit right here. I don't know what it was though. There's really nothing remaining up here besides this. Okay, so I lied. I did not end up going that way. I instead climbed up this little hill right here, and I see 2 old pillars, which means I'll bring it up in my notes, but there used to be a 2-mile long conveyor belt, so I'm wondering if that's what it was. This conveyor belt transferred all the limestone, you know, to I'll have to look at my notes later, tell you guys. But I'm wondering, no, doesn't align with that, but at least I don't think so. No, it just goes past it, unless it turned. Oh, there's another one right there too. Didn't see that, so yeah, might have been an old conveyor belt. We'll probably walk through that later, but all that is old dirt, asphalt, whatever, when they decided to clean up the old site around here. Gotta be careful. These old cement pillars, and there, right there, I'll show you, but up through here is where they all dumped what remained after they took everything down. A lot of broken glass around here. Took the words right out of my mouth. We got old and smashed bricks down here. Probably thrown from all the junk up there. Last time I was here, I climbed and then walked around along the ridge up here. But I figured I might as well go this way this time. Holy smokes. It's like a war zone through here. Looks like somebody took a bulldozer to this. Hard to tell if... No, it's old junk. Old junk that was just pushed right here. Just people destroyed it over time. Well, even more, I should say. We might have to go back. I don't see another trail leading out of here. It all looks like brush over there. Actually, now that I'm noticing it, there's like charcoal pieces of a brick, cement and whatnot. Pieces missing. This all could be from the explosion. Just the cleanup, they just decided to bury it all in here. Be your own hero. Some good wisdom. Doubt if there's any fish or gators of any kind in there. Tadpoles and frogs though? Yeah, I'd assume so. All through here of what is now essentially just a bike trail in general. Just massive, just endless clumps. Dirt, foundation, brick, you name it. All hauled in trucks up through here along this ledge. I take it somewhere else when you're about to close the quarry down, or the quarry was already closed down. They're just using that as a munitions factory. Just dump it all right here. That way. And there it is. The stone crusher. The only thing left of any structure here. Massive behemoth. Now, from the postcard I just showed you, used to be a whole building here, you know, right here where I'm standing, because there's pipe and whatnot along the edge here. I can see old foundation down there. I'll show you when we get closer, and then I can see just a dip right there where it showed rail going through here, which is mind-boggling. I mean, I know a lot's changed over the years, but yeah, there's barely anything left to even imply that anything was here. Yeah, building sat right here. Now, from what I'm led to believe, this is limestone as well. The whole stone crusher built out of limestone. I can see cement corroding away. There's tunnels in there that we can explore when we get down there as well. I think it exits somewhere out down that way. Well, this is it. Big behemoth. Used to be all sorts of machinery throughout here, but this is where they would probably drop the stone, they would get crushed, or some, I don't know how it exactly worked. Got a historian out there. Maybe I can ask him a few questions. Chilly in here. Second time I've been through here. Slabs going side by side, just crisscrossing beams. These beams are extremely old. That goes out to the other exit. I wonder if I can get through here without getting stuck in my bag. Can you imagine all the types of machining that went through here? Oh, really gotta work on my knees. There we go. There's the other way. Whew. Looks like it was air vents. At least I would assume. There's one way you can climb out, but I'll go out the easier way. Trash. No, I wouldn't even say trashed. I wonder, this is what the remains are after the explosion. You know what I mean? Who knows? Caved in and whatnot. Obviously it didn't go like this, probably stretched further. So excuse me, Mr. Bumblebee. Yeah. They're all caved in. Buried. Must be the source of the main demolition, I would assume. Just caved in everything. Yeah, because this is where the dome shape would have been. Parts of it still goes out this way. I don't even know if it curved because it's going this way. But this must have been something too. This must have been a building. At least a stack house or something. Could this be the end? This all looks crushed, caved in. Most likely from the explosion. Ass end, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to find one. I mean, it would have to either be here or where we just came from, that wheelhouse. Maybe there was an exit out in that building, for all we know. Pile of old rubble. That was probably a building. That foundation. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, I don't see a next. Oh, excuse me. I don't really see anything. Charcoal, probably from the blast. Reminder, this is all the way in 1918, I think it happened. So, over a century ago, and there's still markings where it happened. Got old tile, bunch of rubble. Old foundation right here, because in the postcard, buildings went out as far as here. There was even a building attached here. Could even, I doubt there's any remains or even a glimpse of a bed or a track. I'm in the exact probable area where a track would have gone through, but I mean, a century later, there's nothing to even really imply. I mean, there's a trail right there, but I would assume that would be for the road, not for a railway, because yeah, because that was asphalt coming up. Or it very much could have been a railway to push cars up in here. You know, they shut down the initial quarry. And once they built the munitions factory, they probably pulled that out and threw in a road for trucks. I mean, that's just a hypothesis, but I guess it's better than nothing. Nice spot up here. Sun's beating on the paper. I have to use my sunglasses. Can't see without my sunglasses. Okay. Split Rock Quarry. This was a limestone quarry established by Gilbert Coons in 1834. 1834. This thing. It's not just a century old. It's 2 centuries. Nearly. In 1880, the Solvay Process Company was a Solvay Process Company. It was a chemical manufacturer of soda ash. Soda ash is used in the manufacture of glass, soap, and paper, believe it or not. And what the Solvay Process Company did was, where is it? Oh, I just explained it. In 1880, the Solvay Process Company, was in charge of this whole thing. It became defunct in 1985. They had a 2-mile conveyor belt, which I mentioned earlier, that delivered limestone to Solvay. Not entirely too sure where Solvay is. I'll have to look it up on the map. But I know it's around in the area. They had a 2-mile conveyor belt. And then, obviously, this quarry was abandoned in 1912. So it had about a century use. See, in 1915, this was used as a munitions factory, which I also mentioned earlier, during World War I. The plant employed 2,500 people. Then on July 2nd, 1918, the plant exploded when a mixing motor in the main TNT building exploded, killing at least 50 men. So, TNT and chemicals are not a good mix, obviously. So, they had to do a ton of damage. So I would assume it's probably over that way where we were just exploring all that rubble in the collapsed tunnel. Let's see. Following the war, it ceased production of war materials, but was used for a time as the State Department of Transportation Maintenance and Parking Facility. It supported the DOT operations in central New York, and then that role ceased in the mid-80s, and then everything was demolished, taken down, whatever, so yeah, this is probably, which explains why there's a lot of broken up asphalt around here too. Parking lot for their buses and vans and whatnot. Today the area has been largely reverted back to natural growth, obviously. American Hart's Tongue Fern. It's an endangered plant. I forgot what it looks like. I gotta look it up, and I'm pretty sure we've walked past it several times, but you can only find it up here around in this area, and it's on the endangered act. But now what's on the back? Oh, that's for Wednesday. That's Wednesday's adventure. But just once a bustling industrial metropolis. Now last time I was here, I'm sitting right here on these steps. I climbed all the way up to the top, and then I had to, I thought there would be like a platform up on top there. There wasn't, only a little cubicle where you had to basically perform a balancing act. That was nerve-wracking. Not gonna do it today. Today I'm fine just sitting right here, chilling out. Well, if you can't tell, I lied again. Hey, Eminem reference. Nope. Now, granted, this is a much nicer view up here. But the reason why I'm so weary is because this show, you know, I try to keep it PG as much as possible, so, you know, there are younger viewers out there. I've been adventuring the last few years. If you wanna, you know, go the distance and, you know, try to do balancing acts like I did, you know, I never went across there. I've seen people stand and take pictures there. You know, if you feel comfortable and you really want to, then go ahead, by all means. Nobody's stopping you. But for those who are a little more on the anxious side, they're unsure if they want to or not, then you don't have to. Adventure should be about fun for the first part. But even if you don't throw a lot of risk in there, kind of like what I did, that's one little slip up and I fall, that's a long fall down. A little risk doesn't hurt. A little. And little meaning, you know, just scale the side and sit on the steps. But I wanted to throw that out to my viewers. Venturing is fun, but be safe while you do it. Nerve-wracking. Like I said, if you want to, you can do it. If you don't want to, you don't feel obligated to. Alright, back to where we were. I'm going to take another little rest, and then we'll hike the trails out that way. See if we find any other cool stuff, but we're in for like a 40 something minute walk back to the car, and then feeling Burger King when I get back into the area. Be quiet, Burger King's good. Let's do this. There's something in here. More junk maybe? Ooh. Losing my balance. You know what? No. There has to be. Because last time I was here, they cleared out. I mean, it was completely buried in bush. You wouldn't even know it was there. It's like this silo looking thing. If I find it again, we'll film it. Interesting bridge. We've gone across it. Holy smokes. Good, I don't know what they did to really nail it in, but man, they nailed it in. Just came across this. Looks like a creek. Filled in, obviously, but brick. The end is right there. Which means the track probably once went through here, and then they ripped that up and they threw in a road. Old asphalt. I was right. No idea what this was. An old water tower, maybe? But 2 years ago, this was all gravel. It's grown in quite nicely with bush and green. And there's a nice trail going through here. But yeah, off the trail a little bit. Had to have housed something in here. Just a jungle of old ruins out here. I think I've seen this before. Goes down quite a ways. I don't know. You just canal way for water, that way there isn't any erosion, or I don't know. Bad news for Disney fans. I found Nemo. I don't think there's going to be a sequel. What'd I say? Littered with old buildings. And I don't know if you can see through the brush. Columns, wall. Well, the wind's pointing that way. Well, we're not going that way. We need to go this way. Just kind of wanted to see if it'll point me the way, but pretty sure that's the trail we came in on earlier, so we're heading in the right direction. Tell you what, must be fun to be a biker coming through here. Yep, that's the trail that leads out. My feet are killing me though, so I'm gonna take a bit of a break. Probably another 10-20 walk to the car, and then run some tunes, drive home, and I'm definitely getting Burger King. It took longer than 20 minutes, but there's the road. And this is where I leave you, my friends. thank you for coming out and enjoying this beautiful walk, hike, adventure with me. I am going to take off my pack, all this stuff, and then I gotta check myself for ticks. That's another thing too. During nicer weather, if you're out hiking the woods anywhere, you know, after you're done, check for ticks. You don't want to get Lyme disease. And then I will catch you all in the next episode.